Okay, this is lesson number 5 of Scratch. We're going to look at some different input methods today and a couple of other different things. So it says here, often when using a computer, it needs to respond to an event triggered by the user. For example, a computer will react when you press buttons on a joypad when playing a game or simulating piano playing on a keyboard. Okay, so they've got here an example of Scratch when something is pressed. I'm just going to open up my Scratch here and show you how that works. Here's my basic home page with Scratch, and I'm going to go over here to Control, and I'm going to click this one here when the space key is pressed. Now you'll notice that there's a little down arrow here, and you can see that we've got a whole bunch of different possibilities. In fact, any key, any letter A to Z is shown here, as well as all of the arrows, the space key, and I believe there's a few more as well. Yes, the numbers, and back to the letters and the arrows. So you've got all these different possibilities of input here, okay? So we can, anytime one of those keys is pressed, something can happen. It could be it moves, it could be a sound, it could be a variety of different things. The first thing I'm going to show you how to do is how to move a sprite around the stage. Now there's various ways to do this. This is probably the most basic way. As you get better and better, and you'll discover different ways to move the object around on the Scratch, and you may even discover some new ones that I haven't seen. So let's just have a look at these ones here. Let's use their arrow keys. So when the right arrow key is pressed, move it 10 steps. When the left arrow key is pressed, move it minus 10 steps. That's going to move it left. Up arrow key pressed is change the Y by 10. So moving steps is forward in that direction. To go up and down, we're going to have to change the Y. We could also change the X here as well. I'm going to show you a different type of couple different ways right away. Other systems might use a joystick or a remote of some kind to move around. Input is very important. Any game that you play, whether it's on your PC, on your Xbox, on your Wii, input is very important. So let's just have a look at that with Scratch. So I'm going to change this to when the right arrow is pressed, I'm going to move 10 steps. And when the left arrow is pressed, then I'm going to move minus 10 steps. Let's just see what that does. Click over here, press my green flag. Nothing happens because nothing's supposed to happen until I press my right arrow. And you can see that as I press it many times, Scratch will move left and he'll move right. He won't move up and down yet because I haven't programmed that yet. So let's do that. Let's stop our program from running. Click over here in Control. Let's bring in a couple more. When the up arrow is pressed and when the down arrow is pressed, and over to motion, and I'm going to change my Y up, and I'm going to change my Y down. I'm going to go up by 10, and I'm going to go down by minus 10. You can also see I just happened to click here. If you don't want to run your program, if you just want to run a small bit of a script, you can just double click on the script, and it will just execute that bit of the script. Okay, so now my cat will move left, he'll move right, he'll move up, and he'll move down. Okay, and you'll notice that if I hold him, you can't see my keyboard, but if I'm holding my arrow key, he'll actually do it as well. Okay, so multiple times. You don't have to keep hitting on it. You can just hold it down. And you can see that it's sort of choppy motion. We haven't put this in where we can change the leg so that it looks like he's walking. I could have also over here, my left and right, I'm just going to pull these apart. I could have, instead of moving 10 steps, I could have changed my X by 10, and I could have changed my X by minus 10, just so that they're sort of the same. Okay. Oh, let's run in it. He'll go left, and he'll go right. Okay. But again, it's very choppy motion kind of thing. Okay. If you want, you can investigate the glide command. The glide command sends it over a certain time period to a certain position. Not quite the same as, let's just pull one in here, and I'll show you here. When I press the down, you can see that he glides. Okay, so a little bit there. You'd have to adjust that. You'd have to use what we call variables in our X and Y here. That's a little bit later in the course, but you can certainly use the glide command a little bit as well. If you want, you can learn how to turn as well. Okay, if we wanted to, we could have used the steps one in here. This would be plus 10 steps, right arrow, minus 10. And we need to point in a certain direction, not the turn one. Okay, so if we're going right, we want to point in the direction of 90, I believe. 90 is to the right. You can see that up here. If I'm going left, then I want to point in the direction of minus 90. Going up, I want to point in the direction up, which is 0. And if I'm going down, I don't need here. I can go move 10 steps. I can go move 10 steps here. Here I'm going to point in a direction of down. And this should work as well. These ones down here, by the way, because they're not connected to anything, they aren't really going to do anything. So now when I run, this time he turns up and down. Okay, so that's just another way of showing. You'll notice that he flipped upside down here, and he's going, because I'm going minus 10 steps, that's what I did here. I got to go 10 steps. Now when he goes left, let's get you back. Up, down, right, left. There we go. Okay, so different methods to move Scratch around the screen. Okay, so once again, input is very important. Certainly input is not restricted to just moving things around. The other possibility could be maybe when the space key is pressed, maybe you fire a bullet. Quite often space is used for a firing mechanism. I'm not going to show you how to go into something like that, but that's certainly a possibility in this situation. So that's sort of input. Let's talk about something else that's very important, the if command. And the if command operates just like the English word if. If something is true, then do something else. It's pretty self-explanatory, okay? And here's an example. If my character, if Scratch touches a power-up, then play a sound. So you might have something like if this particular sprite is touching color white, then play the sound pop, okay? Let me see if I can do that over here. Let me just get Scratch facing the right way. Rotate them around. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of some things here, clean up a little bit. And I'm going to put when the flag is clicked, if. Okay, now you notice that the if command has sort of a funny looking shape. I guess that's a hexagon, a six-sided figure. The only thing that will fit in there are things in the operator tablet here. These ones, this size there, will fit. These ones will not. Those ones sort of have a rounded end. You'll notice that they will not fit in there. Okay, so it's only these ones here that will fit, as well as the sensing ones. Okay, any of these ones that are that shape will fit in there. So if I could have if touching, you could have if he's touching the edge, if he's touching the mouse, if he's touching a color. That's another possibility. If you could have, if you have another sprite, let me just make a new one here. Okay. I could have, if I'm touching, I put this one in here, sprite 2. Okay, so let's just do something here. I'm going to play a sound. I haven't shown you how to do sound yet. Let's go sound, and let's just go play sound meow. Okay, so if Scratch is touching the building, he's going to meow. Now nothing's happening here, and there's a reason for that. It's because I've only checked this once. As soon as I click my flag, it goes through this step and then it stops. So I need to continually be checking this. I need to be always checking to see if he's touching the building. So what I really need to be using is a different if. Rather than this one, I need to use forever if. And now we're getting into what we call a loop. And we're going to get more into loops right away, but basically what this does is if forever, I keep checking to see if I'm touching the building. I continually check forever. And I only play meow if I'm touching the building. So let's just get cat or Scratch here facing the right way. And for my arrow, let's go up. And what it's doing there is because it's looping over and over and over again, it's starting and never finishing meow. It's always continuing to start. So that's kind of annoying. So let's get rid of that. And the problem there is that my sound, what I need to do is I need to play it until I'm done. So in other words, play the entire sound file. Let's just try that now. There, that's better. Okay. So once again, you can see this is a good example of algorithms, right? Every possibility, you need to go very detailed. So that's sort of the if statement. And there's a whole bunch of other things you can do with ifs. You'll see them as we progress. Okay, so moving into the exercises part, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to create a script using Scratch that will make your sprite move in different directions using the arrow keys. Okay, basically exactly what I just showed you. Add this to your hand assignment, the one that we did before, and use arrows for one sprite. So you should have had on your hand assignment that you completed back in a previous lesson. You should have had two sprites. So I'd like you to use the arrows for one sprite. Use ASWZ or ASWD, some people prefer, for the down. That way we've got two sets of input. Okay. Exercise number 2. Use Scratch commands to play various sounds when certain keys are pressed. Make at least 3 sounds. So play around with the sound thing. It doesn't have to happen. Doesn't have to work with an if. You could just have something like, I'll just show you quickly here. Okay, when the space key is pressed, let's play. We've got a whole bunch of built-in sounds here. Let's pick something. Let's pick a dog sound. Okay, and so now when the space key is pressed, Scratch will still move around. When I press the space key, I get a dog sound. Okay, so you can try some of that, play around with that. I'd like you to make at least 3 different sounds, investigate those different sounds. And then using your hand in program 1 that you did prior, have one sound play when one sprite bounces off a wall. Use another sound for the other sprite. Make a third sound when the sprites touch each other. Okay, so you're going to need 2 sprites. Make a sound when he touches the wall. What you're going to use there is you're going to use touching the edge. Okay, you're going to make a sound, and when they touch each other, they're going to make a different sound. So that is your exercise number 3. And then hand in number 2, using your hand in number 1 file that you've been sort of working with, change the moving script so that the arrow keys control one figure and another set of keys control the other one. Okay, there's 4 marks for that. Set it up so when the sprites touch each other, a sound is played, and when the sprites touch the edge of the screen, they should play a beep sound. So basically, that's exercise 3, more or less. I'd like you to hand that in, please. Okay, that is lesson number 5.